Hello and welcome, this is rooflemonger. So this video is a bit of a wish list for some changes I would like to see in Dragon Ball FighterZ. I did make a similar video some months ago now when the game was much newer, and obviously we know a lot more about the game, where the game's going, you know, kind of how everything's kind of working out. So I'm just going to be listing out some of the points of mechanical, like system level changes I would like to see. I'll also have a companion video following up shortly after this one of balance changes I like to see. But first up, let's just talk about what mechanical system level changes I would like to see. Now, the first things I would like to talk about are the reflect and the guard cancel, the two universal defensive mechanics in this game. And unfortunately, the universal defensive mechanics are not universally useful, especially when they're up against certain characters. So I'm just going to run you through a quick example here, just to kind of really show you what's going on. So I have Vanish and do a generalized block string. You know, everyone does it, right? So in the case of Zamasu here, that's a punish, like straight up. If I reflect the first thing and he goes into his block string, he has to eat that. There's no way out. Now let's switch characters over to Cell. Same deal here. And in that scenario, I can't even get anything out fast enough. Like, I can't even get a standing jab out in time. So my only option against Cell, if I don't want to submit to the block pressure, is I have to double deflect. And that's just kind of exacerbates like some of the tier stuff. This is also not the case for Cell only. Other characters have it as well. And I don't want the characters to be nerfed. Like, I don't want them to have their strings like just, you know, cut in half just for the sake of they have to be double deflected unlike anyone else, because that's just not necessarily fair to the character. But what I think should be is this. So we'll cut back to Cell because I think he's the most obvious example of what's going on here. So the deflect is not even fully done animating when the second hit connects. So what I would propose is the deflect, the actual deflect part of the deflect animation lasts for a few frames longer. At the very least, long enough to cover people like Cell and Goku Black and the rest who can have multi-hitting strings that go into the reflect. So you can actually universally use the mechanic like it's meant to be, so you don't have to play different rules for each single character in the game. Because Cell has different block strings too, by the way, where if you double deflect against certain block strings, then you're actually going to get punished. So it's not just you always double deflect against Cell. That's just an example, right? And say even we kind of work another way around it. So say we don't increase the active frames of the deflect, but say if you have actually deflected a move, then it has an additional, say, 2 or 3 frames of deflect property to it. So the move doesn't get any stronger than neutral, but if you actually successfully deflect something, then it'll cover this kind of exact situation where we're showing, where you don't have to worry about getting blown up by that and then being forced into a mix-up on block just because you correctly deflected. So that's just an idea. Like, once again, deflect is not an amazing mechanic. It's certainly useful in a lot of cases, don't get me wrong, right? But it is not equally useful, and it gets worse against better characters. So I would like to see this universal mechanic universally useful. So next up, I'd like to talk about the guard cancel mechanic. So it's just not amazing. Like, when you're blocking, unlike, say, a lot of other tag style games, we have the push block mechanic, right? So this game does not have push block mechanic. Our only push block is deflect, and that's an active form of defense, not a passive form like push block is. Which is another reason why I think it should be better, because in games with push block, you just hit buttons while you're blocking and you're safe, right? This, you have to actually take a big risk. But besides that, it just isn't very good. Like, it is often not worth the bar. So, you know, in this scenario here, I already know what's coming because I programmed the bot, so I know the exact weak point to come in and hit him, right? But most of the time, you're not going to know that kind of stuff. So in this scenario here, oh cool, we just got smacked. We burned a bar to get crushed. And on top of that, like, it's very reactable. You can see it coming. The move's also not safe on block. So it's just, to me, kind of a poor defensive option. It's actually quite a bit better when you're a solo character, because if you have a solo character, then at the very least you'll always switch sides. So the part where you get blasted by the move incoming is a thing. But it's just very frustrating that you know, this game's a very impressive game, and don't get me wrong, I think that's, you know, the game's kind of heart and soul. It's a very aggressive game to be sure, but to have these two universal defense options be not amazing is very frustrating. So I would like, at least this is my, you know, interpretation what I think should be, there's the slightest amount of invincibility on incoming. Not a lot, just the tiniest little bit, just to prevent getting blasted. Because once again, it's still not safe on block. If you can like down heavy it or whatever, but like a move that's already committed to, and then you get smacked even after it already came out. I don't know. I don't think that should be the case myself. The next change I would like to see is just simply no more autocorrect on auto combos. So, you know, I got Bardock here because he's a big offender, because Bardock's basically got the unga gorilla straightforward kind of stuff with his auto combo, right? And if you played anytime Mount against Bardock, you've probably seen something like this happen, where he completely misses, and then his massive second hit of his auto combo comes and cracks you in the head on the other side. And I don't know. To me, nobody likes this. Unless you're a Bardock player, I don't know anyone likes this. No one's a fan of this. So I think it would do a lot of good, you know, getting rid of complaining. Because anything else, like if you do medium, or like whatever string, you got to commit, right? This is the only thing where it kind of does all the work for you. So I would like to see the auto corrects on the light auto combos go away. And honestly, if you disagree, please let me have it, right? Because I would like to know someone who actually legitimately disagrees with it. That's not a Bardock player. But yeah, I only see people complain about this. No one... I see people happy with it when they get away with murder when they get it off, right? Like even me, I've been guilty of it, and like, oh cool, like, worked out for me just fine, right? But it doesn't add much to the game. When you're kind of mashing the button, you should be committing to your forward momentum, and the fact that autocorrects for you is just not a good thing for the game, in my opinion. So the homing dash. Now the homing dash at this point, you know, it is what it is. I know a lot of people aren't maybe the biggest fans of it, but it's a defining and core feature of the game, right? The homing dash is part of what makes this game what it is. But that said, I still think it's quite strong. Don't get me wrong, I don't think like it needs to be taken out or nothing like that, right? Like it serves the core purpose of the gameplay, you know, especially with the balance with like the basic key blast and all that kind of stuff, right? But especially with like say the recent Yamcha tech found out, right? Where now nominally, if you block it, like you're not necessarily punishable, but you know you lost your turn, right? That's supposed to be the idea. So. But with the Yamcha tech figured out with the Yamcha assist, now if you block it, now you're in mix-up zone, right? You're punished for even trying to block it. And plus some characters, like Vegito, they can actually kind of connect even afterwards, depending on the angle they hit. Where if you don't down heavy them right away, they're going to smack you in the face. And then, of course, you know, then they can just block your down heavy. And, like, you're put into a mix-up, I feel like you're not, shouldn't be in the... You, as the person who successfully defended it, should not be in a potential mix-up state, right? That said, without completely reworking the move, I don't really see that getting changed too much. So this is my compromise with it. I think it should start 2 to 3 frames slower than what it does. So when you start your forward momentum here, just a couple frames of animation slower, just to give that extra bit of time for a person's brain to react, go, oh, cool, down heavy, right? Like, the dreaded full screen homing dash is still quite reactable, right? But when you're in a high pressure situation and you're like kind of like in this kill zone right around here, it's a very hard deal to actually react to it in time. So if it's just a little bit slower to give you that much more, just that edge of mental edge and acuity to be able to actually smack it out of the air. That said, like I thought about, oh, maybe make it bounce back further on block, but then you couldn't potentially down heavy it if someone tried to hit a button, right? Like someone like, you know, Krillin was gonna miss. Like Krillin could barely connect to begin with, right? Someone like 21 wouldn't care because their down heavy's huge, but a lot of the casts that would affect it, and like then you'd have to go into a lot of weird character balance stuff. So as a universal change, not affecting specific character balance, I would like to see homing dash to start up only, just to be a couple frames slower. So that's just some of my thoughts on the matter for general gameplay system level changes about specific character balance. So there is other things I would like to see, but I don't think it can really happen in a balance patch. I made a video just the other day, as the time is recording anyways, about me liking to see online training mode, like 2 players can play on training mode online, We'll see. I don't know if that's actually happened. Obviously, I want to see better netcode. I want to see rollback netcode. Arc System Works is, however, sadly, infamously stubborn on the matter. They really kind of don't want to do it. But maybe I can only hope one day they'll like kind of relent on that. Now, another thing I would really like to see is multiple assists per character. However, that said, I don't think that would come in a balance patch. Arc System Works being Arc System Works, I'm very certain there will be, probably roughly around the 1-year anniversary of the launch of this game, a Super Dragon Ball FighterZ or whatever have you, with, a bunch of new characters, new gameplay mechanics, and like general overhaul certain systems. I do expect to see that there, because that's something everyone wants to see. I don't know if single person's okay with the one assist only mechanic, especially because it's leading to just a lot of teams being quite stale, because everyone wants a good assist, right? Why wouldn't you, right? You're only kind of limiting your team if you don't have the better assists. So I definitely want to see more assists per character, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon anyway, sadly. But yeah, so that concludes this video. If you have any comments on some what I would like to see in this, any proposed future balance patches that could change these gameplay systems, let me have it in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. But that's it for now. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.